Mine is the church where everybody's welcome. I know it's true, 'cause I got through the door. We are a dazzling bouquet of every kind of flower. Jump in the vase, 'cause we got space for more.
Come here, all you 6-foot gladiolas. Come on, you purple lilac shining bright. Come, let us all bloom together in one garden. A carnival of fragrance and delight.
Mine is the church where everybody's welcome. I know it's true, 'cause I got through the door. We are a dazzling bouquet of every kind of flower. Jump in the vase, 'cause we got space for more. We don't simply tolerate each other. We ask until we don't just turn away. We give attention to every bud and blossom. Let every face come grace and breath decay. Mine is the church where everybody's welcome. I know it's true, 'cause I got through the door. We are a dazzling bouquet of every kind of flower. Jump in the vase, 'cause we got space for more.
Demons keep trying to divide us. They document their lies to make them true. Today we're freed from all judging and excluding. Just look around, enjoy this lovely view.
Mine is the church where everybody's welcome. I know it's true, 'cause I got through the door. We are a dazzling bouquet of every kind of flower. Jump in the vase, 'cause we got space for more. One more time. Here we go. Mine is the church where everybody's welcome. I know it's true, 'cause I got through the door. We are a dazzling bouquet of every kind of flower. Jump in the vase, 'cause we got space. Jump in the vase, 'cause we got space. Jump in the vase, 'cause we got space. Oh.
Welcome, everyone. So glad you could join us today. And thank you so much, Dangling Participles. Just love your music. And we get to enjoy several more songs later in the service from the Dangling Participles. And now I invite you to join me in a short centering meditation to start off our service. So you can either gently gaze down toward the floor or close your eyes, and just having both feet rooted on the ground. Just taking a moment to find a comfortable position. Maybe it's a little movement, straightening up perhaps that spine, lengthening the back of the neck, and just feeling the sit bones on your chair. And let's take a few just slow, deep breaths together. Just preparing ourselves for some centering, some inner listening, and just allowing us to be more receptive to the divine. And just noticing the rhythm and flow of your breath. Perhaps as the air enters your nose, noticing as it leaves your body. And just envision the soles of your feet opening and dropping down roots. Let these roots spread out and feel them connecting with others here today and perhaps later, and reaching out to all those in need of some extra support, connection, anchoring, and anchoring into the light, into love. And with each breath, just dropping down into calm stillness. And while rooting down, we're also reaching up with our crown of our head, maybe our shoulders, envision like a tree extending, opening its branches to the light. And we are opening to that light and that love of the divine. And we're letting go to the grace of this two-way flow. And from this calm space, let us listen deeply to the message we will receive today. And with our beginner's mind, let us be willing to release old patterns and to be open and receptive to love's message. Maybe just a little wiggle and wiggling fingers and your toes. So it is. And I have a reading that I'd like to share. It's from the Course in Miracles. It is lesson 188. It's entitled, "The Peace of God is Shining in Me Now." And it's section 3. The peace of God is shining in you now, and from your heart extends around the world. It pauses to caress each living thing and leaves a blessing with it that remains forever and forever. What it gives must be eternal. It brings renewal to all tired hearts and lights all vision as it passes by. All of its gifts are given everyone, and everyone unites in giving thanks to you who give and you who have received.
Leave space between the logs so that the fire will burn. Keep spaces in a dialogue so we each have a turn. We're staying in our spaces now and flattening the curve. But sometimes all the space between us leaves me with a hurt. All I see are the spaces in between. The time apart is drawing out the edges of each day. All I see
And now it's time for the blessings of our tithes and offerings. And just wanted to say thank you for remembering to send in the donations, and it just helps so much. And there's also a in the Facebook feed there, you'll see there's a link that you can press on to donate if that is easier for you. Okay, and thanks so much. And now let's do our blessing. It should be right up there on the screen for you. So let's say that together. The light of divine love shines eternally, blessing and multiplying our tithes and offerings. I joyously give, knowing I always have enough to share and to spare. And now it is my great privilege and just always so grateful to be able to introduce our wonderful spiritual director that I know we're just all so grateful for, our Reverend Mary Sabai.
Hello everyone, I'm so happy to be here with you again this afternoon, but in this role of providing the message today. I'd like to talk about heart and really remind us, including myself, about the importance of the heart and this powerful, powerful resource that we have. A few months ago, I listened to a talk entitled Attention of the Heart, and many of the messages and information that I'd heard and seen about heart over the years just started to connect for me in a much deeper way. It was just like ping, 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 ping. And it was so much more compelling than it was years and years ago. In fact, it had that feeling of picking up a book that you haven't read for many years and reading it again and thinking, really, did I read this book? I just connect with it on such a deeper level, and I don't remember a lot of the things that I'm reading that are connecting with me in this way. That's exactly the feeling that I had. I actually remember giving a talk on this topic of heart back at the Korean Methodist Church, and it was interesting information at the time, but it just kind of dissipated and I moved on. But this time it has been really compelling for me, and some of the messages and information that I'm referring to is coming from the Heart Math Institute, Greg Braden, Dr. Joe Dispenza, from the scientific perspective, and from Greg Braden, he merges scientific with spirituality, and Cynthia Bergeau, she approaches everything from a spiritual perspective. So I'm just going to review some of the things that we have learned about the heart. This is from a more scientific approach, and you'll see how this comes together as I progress. So the new scientific research is telling us, and it's probably not so new now because Heart Math Institute was founded in 1991, but this is all really, really coming to the forefront, that our hearts are so much more than just pumps. Our hearts send more signals to our brains than the other way around, and more signals to all parts of our body than our brains do. And what's important, really, is the quality of this signal, this coherence of heart and brain, alignment between the heart and the brain. The heart sends signals to the brain about what kinds of chemicals to release in the body. And these are chemicals that have everything to do with our health and well-being. This heart-brain coherence influences all of our body systems, including healing, of course, our immune response, cardiovascular system, and our aging processes, and even our DNA. Well, we know that we can work independently with the brain, and we've all been doing such a good job of that over these years here at the fellowship. And we can work independently with the heart. But according to these scientists and spiritual teachers, this is an incomplete picture. It is when we harmonize the heart with the brain that we are creating an extended neural network. The heart gets into the picture, and it's this great integrator that harmonizes all of the body systems. So with quality heart-brain coherence, the body is operating optimally. It's getting all of the messages through these chemicals being released from the brain that it needs in order to work just perfectly. They're also telling us that the heart can learn, think, remember, and communicate with us all independently of the neurons in the brain, although we may not recognize the language. And this was very compelling to me to remember this information. The heart is also the strongest generator of electric and magnetic energy in our bodies, generating electrical energy 100 times greater than the heart, and magnetic energy up to 5,000 times more powerful than the heart, than the brain. So an atom can be changed by either electric or magnetic energy. And the heart has the capacity to do both. So the heart has the ability to change and rearrange the stuff that our bodies and this universe are made of. The data that is available shows this heart radiance all around us of this magnetic and electric energy, and they've measured it out up to 8 feet beyond our bodies. Well, Greg Braden, who is, I'm sure you're familiar with, he's a very prolific researcher, writer, teacher. He asked HeartMath, well, why does it stop at 8 feet? And the HeartMath scientist told him, well, that's just because of our instruments. Our equipment is only able to measure out that far. However, it is most likely that on the physical level, this radiance is many, many miles, and on the quantum level, infinite. And this means that our hearts, each and every one of us, with every beat of this amazing organ that we have in our bodies, has an impact on our well-being, on others around us that are close to us, to people across the globe, and to our earth as well, to our planet. One way that this has been evidenced that we're all really aware of is the measurable impact of group meditations. So we now understand that the heart can have this tremendous positive impact on the well-being of our bodies, and can make such a difference in our lives, the lives of all beings on this planet. So I mentioned up front that I had heard this talk, Attention of the Heart. And this talk was given by Cynthia Bergeau. She's an amazing woman. She is a modern-day mystic, an Episcopal priest, a writer and speaker, and is very closely associated with the Center for Action and Contemplation that was founded by Father Richard Rohr, that I know many of you are familiar with. Cynthia her research is centered in ancient Western Christian tradition, and as she says, very heavily informed by the Eastern Orthodox tradition and Sufism. And she says that in all of these ancient writings, the refrain is heard over and over again, put the mind in the heart, put the mind in the heart. And she says also that in scientific terms, this amounts to entraining the rhythms of the brain, the vibrational rhythms of the brain, with the vibrational rhythms of the heart. It is only when we get the heart involved that this new way of seeing and being can evolve. And she says that only the heart can see the cohesive whole, the oneness. And she says that our challenge is that the brain alone could never see the world as a coherent, unconditioned whole, because it's always running a program based in duality. So to get to this higher level of consciousness, we really need for the heart to kick in. And the heart understood as an organ of spiritual perception. I love that. The heart, she says, has the capacity to see that works like a mirror and magnifier of truth and a knowingness of a higher order. In fact, Dr. Roland McCarty, a founder of HeartMath Institute, tells us that the heart has access to information outside the boundaries of space and time. And he says it is proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's it. So knowledge from this vast open field of all possibilities is perceived and received and understood when the mind is in the heart. A Course of Love tells us that the elevated self of form, self with a capital S, the self of unity versus separation, does not remain contained within the dot of our bodies, but draws its sustenance from the larger circle, the circle of unity. And unity is when the mind and heart are joined in wholeheartedness. This is when the mind and heart function in a state of perfect unity and harmony. Our hearts then are the seat of and conversation with the great heart. Just how beautiful is that? And when we relate from this field of great heart, universal heart, we experience an outpouring of love and gratitude. It just pours out for no reason, with no judgment and no role playing. Cynthia tells us that the heart so gracefully mediates between the finite and the infinite. So when science left the heart behind in favor of the brain, the role of the heart was really relegated to a metaphor in religious traditions. But these scientists and spiritual teachers are saying no. The practice of brain-heart resonance is an actual description of a physiology of transformation that has only been able to be understood as we begin to have the tools now in this era that teach us or the understandability of levels of consciousness to see what they were talking about in these ancient teachings. Cynthia uses this wonderful quote from the book Little Prince that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. It's just a beautiful, sweet little book. And this quote that she uses is this: it is only with the heart that we can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. So we have the opportunity to consciously and intentionally use this transformational practice. The kinds of experiences that this will make available to us, we have probably had by default on occasion in our meditation practices, in our prayer practices, walking through nature and that kind of experience. But this really offers us, as I said, an intentional conscious practice that we can fold into our spiritual practices that will create some results that really will be amazing and transformational. So what I'd like to do now is walk us through an example, a meditation around creating this brain-heart resonance. So we're going to start our heart-brain resonance meditation. So let's just take a couple deep breaths to relax a little bit. Let's breathe in and out. And breathe in and out. And the first step in this heart-brain resonance process is to shift our attention, our awareness from our thinking mind down into our heart. It can be just like a feeling of sinking down into or shifting down into this chest area. And then I invite you to gently touch your heart center. It can be with a single finger, with an open palm, whatever is most comfortable for you. And we know that our attention will shift to this space because our awareness will always go to the place in our bodies where we feel the touch, the sensation. So this sends a powerful signal to our body that says, I'm turning my attention inward. So let's just have a couple minutes of feeling this heart center, the mind and the heart. And then we want to slow our breathing down just a little bit. Maybe 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. Maintaining that attention on this heart space. Whatever's comfortable for you as far as the breathing, just slow it down from your normal breathing rhythm. And in doing this, we're telling the body that I'm in a safe place. I am safe right now. And this frees up our body to let go of all of the feelings of stress and the stress hormones. And it awakens that healing chemistry. Powerful, powerful immune response. So let's just breathe from our hearts. Imagining that our breath is coming into the heart and going out from the heart. And now, doing the best that we can, let's create a feeling right from where you're breathing in and out from the heart of any one of these feeling toned words. Care of anything or anyone. Appreciation of anything or anyone. Just allow that feeling tone to expand in the heart space. Gratitude of anything or anyone. And compassion for anything or anyone. Now just hold that feeling of any one of these feelings or a combination. Just hold that feeling as you breathe into the heart and out from the heart. Let's just take a couple more breaths in. And one last breath. And then we'll just release and come back into the room. And feel that feeling that you've created, that we know has radiated out from our heart spaces, out potentially infinitely in the quantum field, influencing and impacting ourselves, our own well-being, the well-being of those around us that are close, and rippling out all over the globe and into our earth. And these scientists are telling us that that last breath doesn't end the amazing cascade of biochemicals that are being released into our bodies just from these few minutes of engaging in this brain-heart resonance. So I want to encourage everyone to continue with this, and I'm going to make available those steps for you in the e-announcements that go out on Tuesday. And we'll be doing this again because, as I said, this has just been compelling for me. I know that there's something here that is going to create amazing, amazing results for us. I also want to mention too that I have this cute little heart. Many of you remember that our wonderful and lovely dear Denise Wooten, Reverend Denise Wooten, made these little, a lot of little hearts like this, and she was selling them through the fellowship and online, and she called it Soft Hearts. So sweet. She has donated a lot of these sweet little hearts to the fellowship. I actually have one hanging in my room, and now I'm using it to remind me to do my heart practice. So if you're interested in getting one of these little hearts that will benefit you in your practice and the fellowship, we'll be getting out more information on that later. So I want to say thank you for sharing this time with me, and namaste.
Now I've heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throat, she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. Baby, I've been here before. I know this room, I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. I've seen your flag on the marble arch. Love is not a victory march, it's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. There was a time you let me know what's really going on below, but now you never show to me, do you? Remember when I moved in you, the Holy Dove was moving too, and every breath we drew was hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I did my best, it wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I told the truth, I didn't come to fool you. And even though we all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of Song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
And just wanted to thank everyone. Thank you, Dangling Participles, so much for your music. Thank you to our Reverend Mary Sabai for that wonderful message that you shared with us today. The practice of merging our mind with our heart. So wonderful, so useful. And also, I'd like to thank everyone who came today and participated in the service. You could feel your energy. It's palpable. So thank you. And we do have an announcement about our community garden. We could use some extra hands with weeding. So if you're able, please give the office a call or call Richard Lassen. And we have an affirmation. We've been doing our weekly affirmations, which I just love. And today, the affirmation, which we can use all week, is I join my mind and heart in wholeheartedness. Okay? I join my mind and heart in wholeheartedness. And that'll be part of the Facebook feed too. Samantha will put that in for us. And now it's time for our peace circle. And at the end will be our closing blessing. So just want to again thank you for participating and sending your loving energy. We can feel it, and with our peace circle, let's send it out even further and let that ripple out to all those who need that extra light and love in our world today. Thank you.